ready to go, so that when you're in the middle of cooking, you're not going, oh, I forgot to chop the parsley, let me take 5 minutes now and chop the parsley, and your food's gonna potentially burn or overcook. Called a French knife or a chef's knife. It's the best one for chopping, where the tip stays as a fulcrum point, and you can then chop. And then this one is just for outright chopping, when you're picking your hand up off the board. That has some flexibility to it. So there's this. An actual boning knife might have still a little more flex. Saute the vegetables. So we've got the olive oil, which we'll get out of your pantry. So olive oil to saute off. We're going to start with the densest. This is going to take the longest time to cook. So we start with the celery. This is going to be the next fastest cooking. And this only because we picked such a small shape of it. This will cook the fastest, so it'll go in last. Had we bought carrots at a more like this kind of shape and diced, this would go in first. It would take the longest to cook because it's that dense. This has a high water content, and this has an even higher water content. So we could start those sauteing. So you'll notice again, I'm holding down the knife. Fingers around the leaves and around the stalk, and you slide, and you're left with mostly the leaves. Flat of the blade, and then right away things peel much more easily. Yep. And if you don't have a heavy enough knife to do that with, you could use the back of a heavy pan. Just wail on it. Yep, there you go. Perfect. One more. Yep, perfect. All right, and then the last thing that I do is I trim off. A lot of restaurants won't do this, but I just trim off that little bit at the root because it's hard and it's crunchy and it tends to be a little weird. And working your way, dragging the knife across. Now, this isn't a true boning knife, so I'm doing the best I can with it. It'll be okay, it'll work. It just won't be as pretty as if it were an actual boning knife, which would not leave saw marks. This meat is going to have some saw marks, and you'll see what I mean about that in just a second. All right, so hang on. Start from up higher up and shave down so you don't lose that part of the meat. Yeah, okay. And that might end up kind of attaching to the cutlet that you're creating. Right, and so essentially having a little flexible knife is what allows you to go around the bone. There's no way you'd be able to do that with a really sturdy blade. Now, which side of that chunk do you want to be on? That little extra piece that's it's not really cartilage, but it's definitely not meat.
This side. I mean this side.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to stick the tip of your knife in. Here, hang on. Move your thumb 1 second. You're going to stick the tip of your knife in between the chunk and the last bit of flesh around it. Now, come at it from this way. Yeah. Exactly. Uh-huh. Yeah, tilt your knife the other way. There you go.
This is,
That's the silver skin?
Yeah.
Okay, that's your collagen. So look at it from the back and see where it is. Okay. That's a good place to cut. Just be mindful of that other blob that you want to cut around. Sort of figure out where it is, and you might have to make 2 separate cuts. Now, I will tell you, there is something in the culinary world where you could make something that they call like drumstick lollipops, which is basically that you would shave the rest of the little fragments of meat off of here, and then you would it would be a clean bone, and you would have this like blob of this round lollipop of meat on there. So that's one way that keeping the bone in, but not having to eat with the bone in, would work. That already tells you that it's hotter, and that's the sound you're looking for. Out of the way, spread the oil around a little bit, and the next one. So there's that sound that we almost heard this time. Smell it already? It smells starting to. It's perfect that you're getting all these little bubbles. That shows you that the oil is getting hot. So we're going to take advantage of that and put another piece in. Now, I'm moving things because I can see already this is not such a hot part of the pan. These are hotter. So we might keep things moving so that everybody gets a chance at the really hot part. Cream. This is what's going to make the whole thing that creamy version.
How much did you add?
I added about that. So I would say you're going to looking at adding about 2 ounces, maybe 3, and you're making more sauce than you need for the whole dish. So the sauce is something that you're going to be able to freeze. And then that way you could just thaw the sauce and you'll have it for the next time you want to make pasta. This is going to be a great sauce even over chicken as well. Now, we're going to let that cook now without the lid so that all of the alcohol part evaporates and burns off.
So it's no longer alcoholic in some ways?
When it's cooked off some, then it will no longer be alcoholic. At the moment, given that I just poured the vodka in, it's totally alcoholic. Yeah.